Welcome to the home of NASCAR, in a place where tradition and history was made all over each of the 4 turns at every banked corner here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tonight, we amp it up to 17 turns as we take a look at the Charlotte Roval, the site of the 5th round of the 2021 CRL Cup Series season, as we bring you live coverage right here on the KBueno Racing Network. Happy to have you join us along for the ride on our first road course event of the season. My name is Kenneth Bueno to bring you all the action atop of the Charlotte Motor Speedway and to get everything started, where tonight we won't necessarily see any action on the oval. We'll see everything in between, drivers going left and right everywhere all over this 17 turned course. So for now, we continue to watch over about 2 minutes over until qualifying is just about to get underway. 35 laps here from the Charlotte Roval, one of the tracks that has been most unique, considering the fact that it's not a permanent road course, neither is it a permanent oval either. It can play both sides of the card, it can be on both areas, and it can execute both fairly well. To get a little more information as to where we are, we can take a look at our KBRN Track Map with images provided by Google Earth and slip down to Concord, North Carolina. 2.28 miles around the road course, 17 turns, what would be the traditional 1.5 miler. Track located in, of course, Concord, North Carolina. I've been playing NASCAR events on this configuration since 2018. You probably recognize that first year, the debut, after a intense battle between Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, coming to the front stretch chicane to end it all before Ryan Blaney would steal the win in the waning laps. And one of the more memorable courses has been around ever since then and continues to play a large factor into pretty much a lot of the races in the playoffs and throughout the latter portions of the NASCAR season. At the moment, we currently sit 50 seconds out from our grid and getting to the grid right behind the pace car, so we are still waiting on that for the moment. Remember, last week had an outstanding finish in the final laps at Michigan International Speedway and the Super Speedway, where Eric Heater held off Ben McDonald and Brent Murphy to capture his first win of the season. He was yet again another different winner, and we have really yet to see a repeat winner so far this season, and tonight could be the difference, as Eric Heater currently sits at the top of the board in qualifying, and he may look to capture the pole from everybody else and maybe go 2 in a row, be the first repeat winner we see in this CRL Cup Series season. But before we get to that, obviously still a lot to go forward through, and before we do that, we have to get to our starting grid. So we have to take ourselves all the way to the front pit entry and be right behind the iRacing official pace car, while we will take a look at your starting grid and see exactly where every driver and your favorite driver will be starting here tonight from the tricky Charlotte Roval. On the pole will be last week's winner, Eric Heater, and his 10 machine. He will roll off the grid from the first spot, lead them all to the green flag, diving into turn 1, with Michael Rosero, I believe, making his first start in this series. Good to see him in this one. He will be on the outside of row number 1 in second. Thomas E. Fisher in the 92 returns again with a promising run in third off the grid, and Aaron Brown returning once again from Michigan in his 18 machine. He will roll off in the second row from the 4th position. Jonathan Oates and Joe Burgee will be the drivers right behind them to follow out row number 3. Joe Burgee making his first start in this series, so that'll also be very interesting to see how he does on his front. Luke LaFaro back in it from the top 7, with Casey Drake almost a strategy to win him the race at Michigan. Did not win him the race there, but he is looking for some of that road course prowess, and he'll be here on the outside of row number 4. Tyler Tomasi making his first start in the 76 will line up from the 9th spot, with David Gibbs right alongside him to end this top 10. Lucas Strayer in the 41 will start from 11th, and Luke Peters alongside in the 16 will roll off from the 12th spot, row number 6. Row number 7, Charlie Beals in the number 5 machine will roll off from 13th, with Chase Johnson in the 27 being in that 14th position. Ben McDonald, the 7 machine who has won a race this season, he will line up the top 15, with Scott Serdinsky right behind him in the 22, starting on the outside of row number 8. Brady Floyd in the 20 will line up 17th with a 127.676. He'll be right alongside Jose Banales when we get to the green flag in your 9th row. And then finalizing, I believe we have more than 20 cars here tonight. Couple of drivers that we did not mention. Ace Thruitt is in this race. Brett Murphy, Jesse Atkinson near the rear of the field. Josh Redden, Kevin Carter, Bryn George, Jackson Derby, Sam Denoto. lot of those drivers hanging in the back from more than 20 drivers in one of the largest fields we saw in the CRL Cup Series. Remember, last week we had our highest attendance number of 28. Tonight we got fairly close, around the 20 to 25 range, so fairly good amount of people to show up for the Charlotte Roval. 35 laps here from the 2.28 mile road course. We will have no full course yellow flags unless the track is completely blocked. So from then, if anyone gets into any incidents on the racetrack, we'll be seeing that local yellow flag and notifying drivers in that section of the course that there is some trouble up ahead and that they will need to be careful just to make sure they don't get involved. But other than that, we won't have any full course yellows. We will not see the pace car from here on to the rest of this race. And we will go all 35 laps mostly under green. Of course, if we get a special circumstance, we'll see that yellow flag. But in most cases, it never ends up that way. And you can already see how tricky this track really is. The elevation changes within these section of corners. This is the infield part of the course. This is the final 2 left-handers until you get to the exit of the infield section and go right onto NASCAR 1 and 2, which is the banked corners on the racetrack. What would be the oval section. You see right there that little section to the left that splits the entrance to the infield road course and the exit to the infield road course. That is the little chute in the quad oval to get and dive into turn 1 if you were racing on the oval. Then they make this long way full throttle through the banking, and then they reach the long back straightaway before they be hard on the brakes for the backstretch chicane, which was renovated after 2018, was used as a pretty much a fast left, right, right, left, as you will. And a very fast bus stop, but due to the high speeds and the lack of passing opportunities, they decided in 2019 to make it a slower corner, make it a hard left and a hard right all the way down to about second and first gear. Very slow there in order to allow for some passing opportunities and especially slow the cars down instead of going very fast, considering they had some concerns with the barriers. Saw Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace hit the barriers coming exit the exit of that chicane. Actually, we do have one driver around before we got to the green flag. I believe it might have been an orange car back there. It was the Ford Mustang. Try to identify who exactly that was who was back there, but nonetheless, he's already getting up to the field and he's already making. That was the 7 of Ben McDonald who got turned around at the front of this field. Unfortunate for him already. Luckily, I don't believe he's got any damage, so we'll have to see as they make their way to the front stretch chicane. Pace car already to the length of pit road. Eric Heater and Michael Rosero will be the first 2 to lead us to the green flag. And off the final bump, we are green from the Charlotte Roval. And sailing off the first couple of corners in the infield road course, have yet to see anybody get into contact, but Eric Heater is up and away, and he leads the field. Rosero, the 92 of Thomas Fisher, and Aaron Brown lead them off into the downhill section. Luke LaFaro under pressure from Jonathan Oates, who will make that inside pass. And if you're seeing some of the colorful schemes, some of the different ones that we have yet to see this season, that's because it is throwback week here for the CRL Cup Series. So every scheme you see, or most of the schemes you see, will be based off of at least one throwback scheme, and one of those changes include that 10 of Eric Heater ran an AlphaTauri scheme and is now running a Chrome Red Bull scheme, a very shiny one here at the Roval. Not necessarily a throwback per se, but still a very colorful scheme regardless. Thomas Fisher is really the first proper throwback. Mark Martin won in the 92 in the Valvoline machine with one of the more iconic designs from Mark Martin's career, racing for that number 6 in Roush Fenway Racing as he dives into the front stretch chicane for the first time tonight. And lap number 1 is completed. We have everybody else between, I'd say, the top 11 or so. Actually, the top 10, Tyler Tomasi have broken away from 11th on back. And now we have Ben McDonald over to the wall, the 27 of Chase Johnson up and over in his Richard Petty throwback. And a big crash on the front stretch chicane. Obviously no yellow, but nonetheless a large wreck as the 27 practically went flying there. We'll try to see exactly what happened. This was battling with Lucas Strayer in the 41, heading into the front stretch chicane. I think it was contact. Yeah, Ben McDonald just got right into him, sends the 27 spinning, goes back up the track, and then as they were crawling through together, the 5 also gets involved. And the 27 just goes sailing. That was Charlie Beals in the 5, who also got damaged. He has no front clip on his car, and what was the throwback that Denny Hamlin ran a couple years back to win at Darlington. You see a couple of the cones getting smacked out of the way, but we stay green for the moment. It is 1.2 seconds now as Eric Keeter will lead this field out. Rosero, Fisher, Brown, and Burgee all within further distance. And for now, they're all pretty much trying to hold on for the most part. Everybody filing their way through this chicane, and it is not easy to get around this course. You have to be practically picture perfect, and one thing to notice about these Cup cars is that they have the low downforce package. You have all 750 horsepower available to you, and then you have all the low downforce from the short splitter and the short spoilers. You saw Brett Murphy there getting way slow up there over the outside wall. I think he might have cut the chicane, got that momentum, as here's the 75 of Sam Donato overshooting and missing that chicane. He'll have to gain, or he'll have to slow down to make up all that time gained. However, you have low downforce. You don't necessarily have too much grip and downforce within these cars, so when you're trying to put in the throttle, it may not be as easy as you think, or at least as it looks right now. The car will easily want to step out. Under fresh tires, it can want to step out, but under old tires, it'll get even worse, and the wear will start to really eat at you if you're behind the wheel of these race cars. So for now, it's going to be all about who will manage it the best. As the top 4 have broken away. Eric Heater now still comfortably over Michael Rosero for the most part as they head out to the backstretch chicane. And looking a little bit further back, here is a throwback from Bryn George in his Ford Mustang, diving out of the infield road course all by himself and trying to catch up what is 17th place in Charlie Beals for now. A lot of drivers already with damage, Jacob McMillan being one of them in his 21 machine. Taking it back to the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Blake Wynn in the 99 also with damage. Jesse Atkinson we had talked about, as Ben McDonald again goes around at the top of the hill here. And now he will have to revert it back around and get it situated. Not a good night for Ben McDonald so far. Not necessarily any hard damage to his machine, but considering the amount of incidents he's been already within the first 4 laps, it has not been easy and really shows. Currently sitting 26 on the racetrack. It's not fairly been easy for the driver of that 7 machine. How about a battle a little bit further up the road? This is for top 3. The 92 of Thomas Fisher now maybe under pressure from the 18 of Aaron Brown. And we talked about both of these drivers over at Michigan, Fisher and Brown, of course, being a part of that race, and Brown being one of those drivers to watch in the beginning as he had made cut through the field, spread the middle. Unfortunately, was not there at the end of this race to the checkered flag to take away the win. However, Brown put up a solid performance and one that we can remember for some time over at Michigan. What was a wild race, and you can imagine just how much of a contrast this is, stepping into the road course for the first time as opposed to being on the super speedway last week rather, at the Michigan International Speedway, where you're practically full throttle. You lay out the throttle a little bit, but it's all about the draft, all about how you can hang in a pack. And here at the Charlotte Roval, it's all about consistency and patience, just making sure you're hitting your marks, not necessarily making any mistakes, because mistakes here at Charlotte, or at least on the Roval side, can be very detrimental to you. It can easily put you around, send you out of position, and could maybe cause damage if you hit it the wrong way. We have a lot of barriers around this track, so anything you can hit, you can definitely get a part of. And speaking of hitting the barrier, there goes the 23 of Rosero. Got a piece of that grass, and here they go scrambling through the middle. Fisher and Brown able to get around as they're side by side for what will be the 2nd spot. Well, Michael Rosero goes straight around at the exit of what looked like turn 4. And now he has some damage on his Ford Mustang. Maybe not too much ground loss, but now it is head-to-head between the 18 and the 92. Aaron Brown not able to get the run into the oval section, but could try to outbreak it going to the backstretch chicane. May have enough. He'll look to the inside. Not enough space, so be hard on the brakes down to the exit. I think the 92 might have overshot it just a little bit. It seems as though they both make it, but a better exit for Aaron Brown gives him that shot, gives him right to the back bumper. He'll try and push him out the corner. Maybe trying to make something work down the front straightaway. You don't necessarily want to make passes in certain parts of this track, including these 2 corners. You probably don't want to make a pass here because at least one driver will have to back out. Being side by side at a portion of the track like this is very treacherous, can easily result in contact and some crashes like we already saw with Ben McDonald a little bit earlier on, as Aaron Brown continues to try and chase the 92. That will further allow Eric Heater to gap with the race lead as you're riding on board with Cockpit in turn 3. See Brown holding onto that race car just right on the wheel and got very loose uphill. He'll lose 2 spots as a result, but he'll save the car, no damage, and they will have to fight for positions within themselves as Eric Heater already lapped Ben McDonald. He's already reaching some of the lap traffic that's further out the road. Eric Heater putting on a dominant performance so far, has led every single lap since the drop of the green flag. Eric Heater, remember the winner, took the checkered flag at Michigan, and is looking to become the first repeat winner and the first driver to go 2 in a row in this season in 2021. We'll take a look a little bit further back. This is a battle up to about 12th. That's Luke Peters riding the 16 machine, and he can recognize some of those cutters as he heads up the hill and back down to the exit of the infield road course. Camping World scheme on the 16 of Luke Peters. This is the first time we see Camping World, I believe, on any car this season. And if you did not know and did not check Twitter by any stretch of the imagination, Marcus Simonis, the owner of Camping World RVs, he decided to make a bet with a lot of unsponsored trucks for tonight's race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And right now, I believe he currently holds more than 10 trucks sponsored by Camping World, making deals with all of them. And also made a deal for the sim racers out there, a $100 certificate to the drivers who post a photo with a Camping World scheme in hand. So Luke Peters showing some of that blue and yellow love for Camping World on his paint scheme tonight. Saw a couple drivers, Charlie Baier and the Ada Bryn George included, that overshot that backstretch chicane. They had to lose a lot of time, including Beals, and I think Beals might be running to the end of this one as he's going to go down pit road. One of the handful of drivers to go down pit road in the opening laps. It's not been easy. You can try to look for that fast pair. Another driver there, the 99 machine of Blake Wynn, also got into an incident and have his front clip and hood completely out of that race car. We'll try to find out where that might have happened here with the 99, but it seems as though he was there all the way to the end. Even he's been a couple laps with this damage, so he currently runs there right now, just slowing down, hoping everybody could get by. And now lap traffic will start to become a factor. Here's the 92 of Fisher, followed by the 73 votes. Actually, what happened to Eric Heater? He has damage on his race car, and he has fallen all the way to 4th. What has happened here with Eric Heater? He almost strikes the 70 machine. Oh, we'll have to take a replay. Saw the lead change hands in that last lap or so. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Eric Heater last time by, as there it was, overshot turn 1 on the way over. You see him there getting around the 99 of Blake Wynn, and then right here to the entrance, actually just gets a shot for the 99 and has nowhere to go, hard on the brakes, and goes right into the Tums Heartburn turn barrier. Well, that is unfortunate for the driver, the 10. There you see he loses the spots and loses overall the race lead, and he's already trying to claw his way back, and that gives Thomas Fisher all of the advantage. We give Jonathan Oates a chance to slip in a 3rd, and now Fisher has a chance to run away with this lead down the back straightaway. For now, lead has switched hands, and now it's just about a 2-3 car train as Heater now will try to put the pressure on Oates. Still relatively fast race car, though. However, for Heater, although he picked up some of that damage, Rosero has been eyeing in on the 92 of Fisher. He's reeled him in just a little bit, so maybe this could be the moment for Rosero to take over the race lead. Instead, right now holds on for 2nd, but certainly fairly faster than the driver of the 92. Here's a little bit of a battle. Scott Sirodinsky and Bryn George. I think saw one driver a little bit further back that got into an incident off the back straightaway. That was Jose Benales in the 96, and I believe, yeah, here he's got a front clip completely torn off his car. as though he just slowed down here, as there was a 57 machine getting around him. That's Matthew Oliveira. The 96 goes around, and right about there, almost knocks in the barrier. Well, it's been a night gone from bad to worse from the 96. As now Oliveira's in trouble. As we just looked at him passing one of the drivers there. He just gets into an incident now, into the wall. Entering turn 2, where the car can easily step out. Banales will look to go back around. They'll try to go side by side here in the next couple of corners, but it's not been easy, especially when I'm talking about mistakes. Will cost you here at the Charlotte Roval. If you make any sort of mistake, it will not do you any good, as now they are battling here for position. That was Lucas Strayer getting shoved out of the way by the 88 of David Gibbs, and now he's been having trouble holding on to his race car. There's Brady Floyd going around. Brady Floyd sporting a very iconic NASCAR paint scheme, one of the old Tony Stewart paint schemes from his early stages of his career. And Tony Stewart, one of the more notable drivers in NASCAR history, started off racing USAC sprint cars, went over to the IRL in 1996, and IndyCar, won an IndyCar championship as well. And then in 1998, moved to the Busch Series, 99, and went to NASCAR Cup Series full-time, and became one of the more iconic and legendary drivers in NASCAR history. And one of those teams right there, the Home Depot 20, is an example of just when he started his career, one of his more iconic paint schemes throughout his career, which he has a ton. But everybody in the top 4 have not laid off within each other. They've all clustered up together, and now they're making what looks to be an accordion effect here. They were all separated at one point, considering the incidents that Zera had, the one that Heater had earlier, and now they have all been back together. Top 4 are separated by practically 0.8 of a second, less than a second between these top 4. None of them have tried to make passes on each other yet, but they have been all in line. All 4 of these guys have been relatively fast. Here might be the plan of attack for Rosero to dive into turn 2, sliding the race car and edging back to the infield road course. Here comes the 73 of Jonathan Oates to put the pressure. None of them in a contact just yet. All of them still single file. Here's the contact right to the back of the 23. The 23 goes around, lays to rest at the barrier, and will lose position as a result. Unfortunate, he'll fall back to 6, maybe even further down the order. So we're going side by side into what looked to be turn 4 on the road course section. And now Rosero might be out of this conversation. Heater is still putting the pressure, even with that damage. He's done a swell job of keeping his star straight. And that's another thing to mention about the damage when you get here in these NASCAR Cup Series machines, or really any of the cars here, that on short tracks and at the places like the Roval, you can get some significant amount of damage, but you can still be relatively fast, as there's Jose Banales in the barrier. It seems as though he's disconnected, gone straight to the garage, but you can get some damage on your machine, and it'll probably be affected, let's say, down the oval section, especially the straightaways, when you have a lot of that downforce to need to be a little faster. However, if you're not necessarily there, you're mostly working through a lot of slower corners, so it could easily help you, and the damage won't necessarily affect you too much. The question will be if there's any sort of damage there to the driver of the 10 machine in terms of engine. Does he have lost RPMs on his machine due to his contact with the barrier, or does he just have the hood ripped off the car? So far, hasn't been playing too much of an effect on him just yet. We'll just have to see whether he does have some limited RPMs on his machine. When it seems as though he might have been out of the session, we'll try to see exactly what happened. And I guess for now, we'll try to get you back under screen. We'll be on standby here. Not sure exactly what might have happened here. However, we're going to get coverage back to you, and we'll be right back. Just take a moment, and we'll be back with the CRL Cup Series from the Charlotte Roval.
time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. Looks like your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane, press and hold your reset button, and we'll come and get you.
Welcome back to the CRL Cup Series from the Charlotte Roval in round number 5 of the 2021 season. Unfortunately, some technical difficulties has kept us out of the action for just a little bit, but we resume on lap number 15 of 35, where Eric Heater has retaken the race lead in just a matter of moments. More damage, though, in comparison to the rest of the field on his Toyota Camry, but his speed certainly hasn't been hampered, and currently at the moment he rides first right in front of Jonathan Oates by just a handful of tenths. Aaron Brown has slipped into third. Thomas E. Fisher, I believe maybe an incident has moved him back to fourth. And Michael Rosero, we talked about him going into the barrier there off the exit of turn 4. He is now riding within your top 5. Luke LaFaro sits 6th. Tyler Tomasi is currently sitting in 7th, but under pressure from David Gibbs, who currently rides 8th. Brady Floyd, league owner in the 20 machine, talked about him a little bit earlier. He is currently sitting 9th. And Lucas Strayer in the 41. He currently rounds out your top 10. So for right now, Eric Heater continues to lead this race. Have had no updates from anyone down pit road. And speaking of which, we might have our first taste of fuel strategy right here as Eric Heater goes down pit road for the first time this evening. Nobody else, mostly within the lead lap, has changed positions from pit road. But Eric Heater is going to be the first one to lead the torch and be on his way. The 77 into the wall as the 73 of Oates has to keep that race car straight to get around, but he's luckily able to do so. And Aaron Brown will now start to charge in on his 18 Toyota Camry. And we haven't talked about fuel strategy necessarily all night long, so this is going to be an interesting topic of conversation when we get there, because I don't believe they can make it all the way. They have to stretch it to about lap 20 to 25 in order to make it or run out of fuel at that point and run it on fumes. So I think right now we should be seeing early strategies and drivers trying to kick off their strategies at this moment. That might be what you saw with Eric Heater there. This is battle for what is P1 right now. However, if Eric Heater cycles back, he should be net P1 when he gets out of pit road, which I believe he just has. And actually, no, he's still down pit road getting some of his damage fixed. He's burned off that fast repair, so he's going to have a fresh race car when he gets out of pit road. But he is currently waiting a while. I think he might have a penalty down pit road. He's spending a significant time down pit road trying to get some of that service. This is the battle, though, for first. Heater might go a lap down as a result, and Aaron Brown is putting that pressure almost 3 wide with the lap car on the 22 machine. Aaron Brown will have to leave off, and here he go take the lead as the 73 of Oates now dives to pit road with the 92, Thomas Fisher, and the 22 as well. So they will make their way down pit road. Eric Heater, on the other hand, currently since 10th, but he rides out just before he gets lapped on the racetrack as Aaron Brown now dips into turn 1. So already our first little bit of strategy. We currently have 13 cars on the lead lap, and we started with 31 on the grid. And the last one, or last spot on the lead lap, currently sits to Bryn George in the number 8. However, you see Aaron Brown not too far behind, so it might change to Sam Denotto being the last one on the lead lap when we continue going green. It's just a matter of when Aaron Brown decides to pit, or if he plans to stretch it all the way. And we've had everybody but the top 3 here pit. Between most of the drivers on the lead lap, David Gibbs has not pit either. Brady Floyd, neither Lucas Strayer, Luke Peters, Sam Denotto, and Bryn George, they have all not pitted. Even the drivers lap down, most of them have not pitted as well. So a lot of them just lengthening their strategies, waiting until a little bit later to go down pit road, as Rosero might be following in Aaron Brown's tracks at that point. Luke LaFaro also slipping into 3rd. Oates, Fisher, and Heater are out of pit road. They're all sitting within the top 10. None of them have fallen a lap down. So it could be a strategy nailed for the most part. We'll just have to keep our eyes peeled when Aaron Brown steps on the brakes and goes to pit road, which will be now. He'll be right on the brakes to the cone. I believe he might have made the pit road speed just in time. Rosero will stay out 1 extra lap as we reach the halfway mark of tonight's race. And as we do so, it's a good point to go right through the field. It's exactly where everybody stands. And we'll start with the driver of the 23-year current race leader, right? Michael Rosero started from the 2nd spot, has had 2 incidents which has caused damage to his Ford Mustang, been in a handful of battles within the top 5, but he has one fast Ford Mustang in the Dex Imaging cars, at least to represent Team Penske. Not necessarily a throwback per chance, just a couple of years old, but nonetheless running a more modern paint scheme and running a very quick car. Nonetheless, even with the damage, he's been able to keep pace with everybody in the top 5. Currently holds the lead, albeit he is one of the last drivers that has yet to pit. So once he cycles around, he might be still sitting within the top 5, but he will not be the race leader. He currently is right now. Luke LaFaro also on the same strategy, running a Darrell Waltrip paint scheme in the Gatorade Toyota Camry. Currently riding in 2nd right now. Started in 7th position, so he started merely in the top 10, has held himself there for most of this race. Has not had the pace, though, to be there with the top 3 or 4, but has been enough to maintain position and gain some along the way. He is also on the same strategy as Rosero. He is staying out until the very end, so we have yet to see when he goes down pit road for the time being. But you want to look at the driver that is first out of everybody else who has pit. You got to look at the 73 of Jonathan Oates, not too far behind on the fresh rubber, running a Jeff Burton throwback, and his 73 Ford Mustang has done a very good job of keeping himself clean. You see him a little bit go wide there, and there's the 92 of Fisher and Aaron Brown as they have all went down pit road. But strategy for Oates right now, holding on to that position. He may be under fire very soon. At the edge of the top 4, Thomas Fisher right behind him in a Mark Martin throwback in his 92 machine. He's also riding in this spot, started in 3rd, has lost a position to 4th, but nonetheless has been a part of that conversation. You can't really talk about the top 4 without looking at Thomas Fisher at least once. Him and his teammates 73 have done a good job keeping themselves together as they go around the 21. And now we have a caution in the middle of this race. You saw the incident with the 21. Aaron Brown now gets involved. He's around. Oh, and this does not look pretty at the exit of turn 2, and the officials decided it was enough to throw it out. And now we have a miracle yellow at the halfway mark of this race. And I believe it had to have started with Jacob McMillan in the 21 who ran around there and blocked the track. I think the officials decided that was enough. We'll take a look at the replay, and we'll see whether that was the case. You see here, this was the 21 machine as he was going into turn 1. I think here looked okay, kind of overshot the corner, but he was keeping himself clean. I think right here loses the race car. Yeah, right there, puts in too much throttle. Car goes right up into the outside wall. Had to overcorrect. Look at the leaders coming by. Brown slipping by barely, but then having to go around. And then another car also gets into it right about there. That's another Ford Mustang, and that is the 127 of Jesse Atkinson, who also gets involved. And then, by that point, caution flag has been flown. And now Luke LaFaro will be the driver to lead this field. He has yet to pit, so we're probably looking at him to pit this time, as everybody pretty much behind him all the way back to 5th have already pitted on the strategy. Now he will be surely the next one to do so, albeit with a lot more time on his hands, not having to worry about the distance around this Charlotte Roval, and he will be okay as the field gets gathered into the infield workhorse, and the pace car will pick them up. So this is a fairly interesting situation because we were spread through the middle of this pit strategy. We're looking still for the rest of the field to go down and cycle around. We were probably looking for Eric Heater to assume the race lead at some point. The distance, though, was too large, and we're probably going to look at Jonathan Oates or Thomas Fisher or Michael Rizzero to be on the same strategy and take over the race lead for the moment. And we'll probably see that happen now, but the question will be, will everybody pit with LaFaro this time? We know that they have fresh tires behind LaFaro. However, if they all pit, they'll all be on the same strategy, and they won't have to worry about the difference in tires or the difference in the amount of fuel they put in their race cars. They will be good to the end of this race. It's only about 15 laps, and even then under yellow, we'll probably stretch it to about 13, 12 laps to go. So we could easily see things fall into different hands if we go down pit road, but we just have to wait until the field goes all the way around, as the 22 machine will look at a wave around. He'll go around. The rest of the field will actually, he'll wait up and wait a moment to get that wave around just yet. As the 21 machine has just received an EOL for his incident, Jacob McMillan, driver who saw go around, blocked the track, got into Aaron Brown as he was going by. So he will get put to the rear of the field, and we'll just have to find out what the field will decide to do. Will the general consensus be to pit, or will it be to stay out if you're the drivers on the fresh tires? Maybe an interesting situation here, because track position might not be lost if you're all on the same strategy, and if you all go down pit road. The difference is, if some people decide to split, they feel they have enough fresh tires. Remember, there were drivers who were just pitting right before that yellow came out. We'll just have to see. It seems as though everybody behind Luke LaFaro has decided to pit. Apart from a couple lap cars, they'll wait another time to go around, but everybody on the lead lap will decide to pit this time by. So all that questioning now results in an answer here on pit road. Pit road is fairly busy with the entire field down. Maybe give some drivers a chance to fix some extra repairs that they may not get, including Aaron Brown, Michael Rizzero, who's got a little bit of crinkles on his car. So everybody will be down. Everybody will make their way in. For now, we will have to wait on what the decision lies off of pit road. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have more coverage from the 5th round of the CRL Cup Series from the Charlotte Roval. You are watching it all right here live on the KBueno Racing Network. Coverage of the CRL Cup Series right here on the KBueno Racing Network is brought to you by iRacing. Start your sim racing career today at iRacing.com. By EO Media Graphic Design. For inquiries, just message EO.media on Instagram. And by Supermix Concrete Blocks on demand. Well, currently we ride on our 21st lap of 35 here for the 5th round of the CRL Cup Series, and their first trip on a road course to the Charlotte Roval have just gotten over our first yellow of the evening, including one driver, the 21, and Jacob McMillan, who went around at the exit of turn 2, caused a yellow flag, and now we let rest under the pace car. But however, we've just got the 1 to green signal for the pace car, so we should be all good for the rest of this race. Tyler Tomasi will be your net P1 alongside Luke Lofaro, Jonathan Oates, Thomas E. Fisher, and the driver that will try to pull up the winner from last week, the driver of the 10, it was Eric Heater in his machine, winner of the Michigan race not too long ago. So we'll bring him in and we'll try to see exactly what his thoughts are now going into this event. So we'll bring him in right up to the booth and see exactly what his thoughts are moving forward to the rest of this race. And Eric Heater, first of all, Kenneth Bueno in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Eric. Well, currently you run with one of the more dominant cars tonight. You will be starting in the 5th spot on a restart. Were you really expecting this caution, or were you expecting your strategy to file out all the way through?
Yeah, I was expecting no caution there. I mean, we had so many incidents where the track was pretty much blocked and we didn't get a caution. So I wasn't expecting any big wrecks when we were, spread out. I'm not obviously sure what happened since I'm in the car right now, but I mean, it's definitely to the benefit of me. I had to serve a penalty under green, so all this does is put me back into it, and hopefully I'll have enough speed to get up front by the end of this thing.
We got a couple of cars to fight that you've been pretty much fighting with all night long, but you've got pretty much a 13-lap stretch all the way to the checkered flag, which should, if presumed, go green. What's going to be the mindset here about taking care of your car as you go around this track about 13 more times?
Yeah, I just I can't get damaged like I did last time with the lap cars or anything like that. My car just felt completely different once I got that damage, and I was able to get back to the lead, but it wasn't comfortable, and I made the mistake after that. So with a clean car, hopefully I'll be able to get up front and keep it clean this time.
Well, you're about to go green soon, Eric, so we wish you the best of luck. We'll be watching, and we'll see how much fun you have here on the Charlotte Roval tonight.
Yep.
That's Eric Heater in the 10 machine, winner last week in Michigan, looking for 2 in a row here in the CRL Cup Series. Going to look to be the first repeat winner in 2021. We have a fairly shooken up field, including Lofaro at the front, considering he pit from the front, and Tyler Tomasi, who we really haven't seen all race long, was hanging in the top 15. And now he will be leading this field along with the Toyota Camry 2 is outside. Pace car going to peel down a pit road. We'll look to have about 13 more laps of action here from Charlotte before everything is said and done. It'll be Tomasi and Lofaro to the front stretch chicane once again, and we are back under green from the Charlotte Roval. Big shuffle there as the 54 Lofaro got very loose at the exit of the corner, trying to get as much gas in as possible. Contact between himself and Aaron Brown. Even more contact up at the front. Oates got a little bit loose getting into Eric Heater, but they stay single file for the most part for the top 2. Almost 3 wide for 3rd place, and they'll maintain side-by-side action for now into turn 4. Remember, talked about the field being bunched up all together. One driver getting turned around. That was Donato in the 75. He goes around at the exit of turn 4. Everybody scrambles through. We stay green. No caution, but now here comes the fight of the century. Fisher now to the back bumper of Tyler Tomasi, trying to make something work with 4-lap Fisher tires. And he'll go by to the race lead, so give Thomas Fisher the race lead for now on lap number 23. Gets around Tomasi for the time being, and now Eric Heater will have to be the next one on the charge to get by. So he's going to try and use that fresh tire advantage to there to bring it into the NASCAR 3 and 4. Maybe take a peek into the front stretch chicane, but albeit this is a very dangerous place to make any sort of moves. Hard on the brakes. 76 will let him by, and Eric Heater now has a shot to catch up to the 92 of Thomas Fisher and take it away before we get this checkered flag. Obviously, we're not expecting a yellow flag from here on out. Talked about the local yellows and probably presumed that we were not going to have any cautions, at least on the full course stance, from this entire race. However, we were proven wrong. We can easily get proven again. Over the course of that run, we saw the yellow flag come out from a driver blocking the track. How about this? Almost 3 wide. Lucas Strayer letting these drivers by. That's Brady Floyd, Michael Rosero, and Luke Lofaro, who has already suffered huge damage to the back of his or to the front of his Toyota Camry. He's already limped back to 6th, and he is under more fire from everybody behind, which will probably not be good for the driver who would just assume the lead of this race not too long ago. But already Eric Heater is starting to close in. You're right on board to NASCAR 1 and 2, and he is now closing in the gap to that Ford Mustang. And here might be the move for the race lead. Heater pinching to the outside, trying to make something work. Got the run off of the backstretch chicane. And now here you have the run and the advantage going into the right-hander down in turn 16 and 17. First time we see about side-by-side action. And Eric Heater takes away the race lead. Loose off turn 4, but he'll take it away from Thomas Fisher. What a move by the 10 of Eric Heater. Get it done. And he talked about minimizing the amount of damage on his car, not getting into lap machines or anybody to affect his race car. Now that he's burned off his faster pair, and now it is showing dividends. He is now pulling away from Fisher as Aaron Brown and Jonathan Oates are now starting to close in, and they're starting to put the pressure on that 92. And again, very loose off the corner. This will lose him a lot of time as Brown now looks to make a move. Probably won't be enough to go down to the bottom. Brown will have to wait just a little bit. We'll take a look a little bit further throughout this field. There's Brady Floyd and Lucas Strayer, who were making moves on drivers where Michael Rosero was in the top 5. They have fallen back, though, significantly. Maybe they can try to take a look at Tyler Tomasi since they do have fresher tires. However, Lucas Strayer and Brady Floyd might be working in tandem for the next couple laps, try to maybe survive here. And the 41, one of those schemes that represents the fabulous Hudson Hornet, one of the real-life drivers in real life down in the 1950s, and obviously one of the representations from the Cars movie. And Doc Hudson himself, the fabulous Hudson Hornet in that movie, one of the more iconic characters as the mentor to Lightning McQueen. He has a couple of throwbacks dedicated to him tonight. Lucas Strayer with a light-colored car, about a teal sky color here. We saw Jacob McMillan with the same design. However, the car was entirely black, as now Strayer will now look to make a move, a little bit of gain time on the 20 of Brady Floyd as Tomasi kicks out the car. Here comes Lucas Strayer for position, so that is to slip into the 7th spot, looking 4 to 6. So fairly good run right now for Lucas Strayer, what has been a comeback after a little bit of chaos over at Michigan last week, where got into a couple of incidents, was pretty much just looking to survive, as one of the drivers does not have a good job of doing so off turn 4. Bryn George again having struggles off that corner. He'll scrape the inside wall just a little bit. He'll try to come back to speed. And he currently rides just inside of the top 10. Everybody practically separated for the most part. I don't think anybody really in close quarters all throughout the moment. Maybe some battles throughout the top 5. That's as close as it's gone. Battles for the lead, battles for 4th and 5th, as you're watching right now. Rosero and Oates, they are also battling for position. This is the gap currently, about half a second between Oates and Rosero as they work forward to the front straightaway chicane once again. And talking about Charlotte Roval, we talked about places like Rovals, places that aren't necessarily permanent road courses or necessarily aren't permanent ovals either. And they added that recently again in 2020 with the Daytona Road Course. Not necessarily a race here in this schedule. However, it is still one of those Roval type races where you have not necessarily an oval, you don't necessarily have a full permanent road course, you have the mix of both worlds. But even then, mistakes at any sort of road course can really hamper you, especially with the low downforce package. You really have to take care and baby the tires underneath you. And seeing a lot of races here at Charlotte, and seeing even the action that we've seen so far tonight, drivers kicking out the rear end, they continue to hurt their tires. That wheel spin does not help with some of the grip in the latter stages of the run, especially when you go longer, and especially when you have no reason to expect the yellow flags either. It becomes a whole different challenge because you know you're going to stay green. You don't necessarily are praying. You're not necessarily praying for a yellow on a lot of other tracks where you could probably look to have a yellow flag come out, caution, and everybody will be bunched up. You'll be able to go down pit road as you're still watching a tough battle between the 73 of Oates and the 23 of Rosero. It was very tight going to the entrance of the front straightaway chicane, and almost contact between the two. Rosero looking up high to get an arc off of NASCAR turn 4. It's not over between these two. It is still going strong at it. But meanwhile, battle for second has heated up. Aaron Brown looked to the inside for a moment to the straightaway chicane, and he was not able to get it done. But this is only allowing Eric Heater to pull away with just about 8 laps to go at the stripe. So Heater looking for 2 in a row here in the CRL Cup Series. Has done a good job of keeping that Red Bull car under wraps here after this restart. So he will continue on, come off to the infield road course. Lucas Strayer has just gone around at the exit of turn 4. We've had a lot of drivers have trouble there. And again, we'll try to take a look at a replay, see exactly where that started, whether he had help or whether it was just the circumstance of the car just unsettling itself. I think there can tell the whole story. He already gets loose in the braking zone into what looked to be turn 3 here. Right there, gets very loose, corrects the car, almost slaps the barrier and does a good job to keep off it, but drifts all the way back down. Almost gets into Brady Floyd, barely there to the right side. Luke Peters also gets around unscathed. Look at the cockpit of Brady Floyd as here's Lucas Strayer right up the road. He gets into trouble and just almost gets into the right side of his Ford Mustang. Oh, that's merely inches between Floyd and Strayer there. However, Strayer will have to survive for now, and just inside of the top 10 as Sam Donato is taking over that 10th spot, once occupied by Bryn George. And Bryn George is the 12th car on the racetrack and the only one left on the lead lap. So everybody at 13th on back has been put 1 lap down at least on the racetrack. It hasn't necessarily been easy. I think might have been a struggle by Aaron Brown. Indeed it is. He goes around in the infield road course going up the hill. Has yet to fire the car back up. Now we'll try to get back under motion, but drivers going around. Luke LaFaro now barely slipping by, and now the caution will be waived as Brown is directly in the middle of the track. Officials will decide it this time. And now we have another shot to bunch up the field. And it is not confirmed for Eric Heater just yet. As we'll take a look, saw Aaron Brown completely plummeting out of the order, and that's exactly why he went around. I believe he may have just gotten loose by himself in that moment, or was right in a head-to-head battle with the 92 of Thomas Fisher. Remember, saw them two side by side earlier. They had again been going toe-to-toe. And then diving into turn 3, Brown just goes a little bit deep here. Able to make it work, and this is a phenomenal battle up to this point. The 92 of Fisher goes right for the crossover. They go door banking at the exit of that corner of the straightaway. They door bang even further, and then the 18 goes right up into the 92, sets him into the outside barrier, and that's also why Fisher had lost position. This was right there as, yeah, Brown just gets, I'm not sure whether he got a piece of the grass or whether his car just got loose at the top of what looked to be second or first gear. And no, it doesn't even get into the grass, just loses the car, slides right up into the right side. Fisher just pancakes the wall. And then Aaron Brown saving that race car. What a job by Oates to get around barely between them both. That was close with him. Take a look as he rides right through the middle and almost makes contact with Fisher. And then from there, Brown had practically been stuck on the racetrack. And this is what called the yellow flag as everybody was going by. Luke LaFaro was the next one to find his way by, barely able to slip, and then right here is what the yellow's called for Brown. As now we are under our second full course caution of the evening here for the Charlotte Roval. We were not expecting any yellows to come out tonight. And what's going to be even more interesting is that we're going to have a restart just inside of 5 laps to go. So this is going to be a dash to the finish. And considering the competition we've seen here tonight, it can grow even more competitive between the top 4. They have all done a well job of competing with each other. Oates, Fisher, Brown has become competitive. Rosero has been fairly competitive, and he was crawling up to second, had a shot to catch up to Heater. And now this will make it a lot more easy for Rosero. It was a couple seconds between himself and the race leader, but now it is all bunched down to 0. So everything about maintaining distance is thrown out the window because we're going to have ourselves a fun dash to the finish. Gotta word from the officials that the 18 of Aaron Brown has been given an end-of-line penalty as a result of causing that incident and sticking in the middle of the track. So by the time we get back under green, he will be at the tail end of the field with him already, hitting the brakes and slowing down, letting some drivers by. And what was a highlight night for Aaron Brown, just consistently putting up good lap times, consistently running up the field, gathering position, battling with others. And now he will have to start from zero, which might be too much to call for here, especially in the final laps of this race. Field behind Eric Keeter is down pit road. So it is busy once again. All the animals are coming in to get fed. Not sure whether there will be an electing a fuel call here, but the tires will be key, especially in these early ones. If you don't get any tires, you may get swallowed up by the field. We saw it just a little bit, even with maybe 5 lap older tires from Tyler Tomasi's part when he stayed out to lead this race. So any amount of tire difference will make a certain amount when we go back under green. Everybody electing 4 tires, fresh off the pit road. Heater will be a little slow out of it, but he'll get the lead off. The 73 of Oates will follow suit next. Thomas Fisher out 3rd. Luke LaFaro will come out 4th on a nice pit stop for him. Brady Floyd will come out after in the 5th spot. Tyler Tomasi also behind with Lucas Strayer coming back from that incident. Seems as though he will have a good shot at it. But Michael Rosero does stay out this time by, so this is a split strategy. But even worse here, he's got about 2 to 3 cars that give him that buffer, unless they also go down pit road next time by. That will also be something to note here when we go back green. But Rosero stays out on a very risky strategy. He has 9 lap old tires. Field will have practically 0, so it'll be a 9 to 10 lap difference on tires here. And this could be the call that either makes the race for Rosero if he's able to gather enough space and enough speed, or could break his race if he gets swallowed by everybody behind. And just, I think, hoping that this buffer of Donato and the 23 of Seredinsky can also sort of bring in a barrier between the drivers on fresh tires and these guys who have stayed out so far on what seems to be 11 lap old tires for Donato and 15 lap old tires for Seredinsky. So we have our top 3 staying out. Everybody from 4th on back elects to go down pit road. We'll take one more break and we'll come right back from the Charlotte Roval with less than 5 laps to go. You're watching the CRL Cup Series right here on the KBueno Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming next.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
we have a 3-lap dash to the finish in the CRL Cup Series for race number 5 of its 2021 season from the Charlotte Roval in the 17-turn road course. Kenneth Bueno here with you to bring all the action in what might be our final dash to the checkered flag. Michael Rosero, who was sitting 3rd right before the yellow came out, he stays out of the racetrack on 10 lap older tires. Sam Donato will be on the inside, at least. Rosero will choose up top. Saradinsky will be lining up 3rd. All 3 of the drivers in the top 3 did not pit that last time around. Eric Heater, Jonathan Oates, Thomas Fisher, everybody beneath the top 4 have all gone down for fresh rubber and now have decided to pit that time by. So it'll be a big war between old tires and new tires when we go back green. We have the lights out on the pace car, so we are ready to get things back underway out of the front straightaway chicane. The final right-left combination before you reach the start-finish line. Pace car will make its way down, and we'll see whether Michael Rosero can get a good enough jump to take this lead away and possibly hold on to the checkered flag should we get a green flag run to the end. We've already had 2 full course yellows. It can definitely happen once more. Pace car to the left to pit road. Rosero and Donato into the chicane. They're jumping early. We're under green once again with 3 laps to go. And already the move, easy move over by Eric Heater to get by Sam Donato. Here is the charge to the race lead, already up in front of Thomas Fisher and the rest of this field. Lucas Strayer going around at the exit of turn 3. Or exit of turn 2 rather. He goes around, but we stay green. He'll let everybody by and get back underway, not blocking the track. Some other issues a little bit further behind. Saw Luke LaFaro get loose as a result. And now Eric Heater is on that charge to the driver of the 23 of Michael Rosero. All of these guys have been relatively fast, but the tire difference can make this work. Heater now to NASCAR 1 and 2 with a head of steam right to the back bumper and can try to make a move heading to the back straighter. Remember, if these two get into contact, look at Thomas Fisher behind. Talked about earlier at the top of the broadcast when we went over our track map, Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson in 2018 got into contact this exact same way in the final corner on the white flag, which allowed the 3rd place driver to get by and win this race. We could easily see another situation in the same light between these 2 cars up front. Fisher, though, is hanging on, keeping these guys in his crosshairs, and you see Heater trying to desperately, methodically make a move in these final corners. Step back into turn 1. 2 laps to go for the Charlotte Roval. Heater may have the nose in. Turn 2, barely getting in contact. Gets to the back bumper. Rosero right there to the inside, or the outside rather, in the corner. Rosero up the track. Here comes Heater back to the bottom. Makes the crossover. Eric Heater to the race lead with 2 laps to go in the infield road course. Fisher now catching through, and the question will remain if he can get by Rosero. How much time will it last for him to catch up to Heater? Rosero is already losing time on the old tires, and now Heater will have the advantage. Now just has to pull away and hit his marks, take the white flag. If we get the white flag, any flag after will end the race. So race all the way back to the line, and whoever is first to the start-finish line in the checkered flag will be considered the winner. We have everybody in the top 4 who have been the strongest all race long, now clustered between 1.3 seconds. Heater, though, at the head of it all, back to 3 and 4. Heater into the final 2 corners, pulling away by just over a second to Michael Rosero, taking the left and taking the white flag from the Charlotte Roval in the 5th race, trying to go 2 in a row and be the first repeat winner of the series in 2021. We saw him nail over, get by everyone, and defend hard to the end at Michigan International Speedway, and on the road course, taking the pole away from the rest of the field, and has now since run away in the final restart of this event. Look at the battle, though, for a second now. Here comes Fisher and Oates challenging in their throwbacks to the 23. Talked about Rosero on the old tires and just getting swallowed up. He's done a significant job of keeping himself in this fight, and he is holding them off for that 2nd spot. And this will be where all the money is made. into NASCAR 1 and 2 for the final time in the banking. And get to the back straightaway chicane. No mistakes here. Just keep it easy. And Eric Heater now up by 3.1 seconds. And the nail-biting finishes that Eric Heater has gone through since his entrance into the series, and has since become one of the most dominant drivers we've seen. A performance for the ages at Michigan, and one here at the 17-turn Charlotte Roval off of the final corners on the front stretch chicane. The win will come to Eric Heater, a winner for 2 times in a row. Eric Heater wins it from the Charlotte Roval. Rosero holds on old tires for second. Thomas Fisher gets third over Jonathan Oates. Aaron Brown to the line. Backwards, Tomasi gets it over both of them as they were spinning right to the line. What has happened here between LaFaro and Brown? Bryn George will walk back to 8th. Lucas Strayer now coming off the final corners. He will take 9th. Brady Floyd in the 20. With the last driver in the top 10 at the start-finish line. But all eyes are on Eric Heater, your winner here tonight, and the first repeat winner in the series so far. We talked to him in one of the earlier yellows at the halfway mark of this race on what his mindset was going to be. He said, keep the car clean, don't get into anyone, and he should be quick enough to take away this race win. And indeed, he does just that. Minimizes contact on all forms. Hits his marks. And he takes a second checkered flag in a row. In CRL competition, you see him now going to the front straightaway. And oh, there goes Michael Rosero right into him. But I guess the celebration there will be enough. As Heater with a damaged race car, maybe not going to celebrate now. As he'll stay stuck right there, and he'll get back out of the garage at least and try to transfer over to victory lane. But Eric Heater, your winner here tonight from the Charlotte Roval. And what a magnificent finish it was all the way to the end. Let's take a look at your full field results, exactly where every driver finished. Already mentioned the top 10, but it is Eric Heater, your winner here tonight, by 3.970 seconds over Michael Rosero. This is Heater's second win of the season and second in a row after taking the checkered flag on a nail-biting ending at Michigan International Speedway. Rosero with a top 3 finish in his first start in the series. A fantastic run by him on old tires to defend against Thomas Fisher in the 92 and Jonathan Oates in the 73, who round out your 3rd and 4th place positions. All 4 of these drivers easily noted as the fastest tonight, and they show up here in the top 4 at the end of it all. Saw that last lap drama there, or last corner drama rather, between Tyler Tomasi, Aaron Brown, and Luke LaFaro. They went wrecking to the line. Tomasi took 2 birds out with 1 stone, and he lands himself in the top 5. Aaron Brown finishing backwards at the start-finish line will be 6th. Luke LaFaro not too far behind in 7th. Bryn George in the 8 car will finish in 8th, so a good comeback from him after being at the tail end of the lead lap earlier tonight. Lucas Strayer with a spin on the restart. He rebounds to 9th. And Brady Floyd, league owner himself, will show up with another top 10 finish in this season. Scott Seredinsky in the 22 will round out the 11th spot. Luke Peters and his Camping World machine will be the 12th spot. Sam Donato in the 75 will line up 13th. This is the first car 1 lap down before you get to Jesse Atkinson, Matthew Oliveira, Josh Redden, Jacob McMillan, Ace Thrud, David Gibbs, and Ben McDonald rounding out your top 20. Charlie Baier will be 21st. Jose Benales in the 96 will finish 22nd with Chase Johnson behind in 23rd. Blake Wynn will be 24th. Chris Pierce will be the 25 car in 25th. We see that twice here tonight. Kevin Carter, the 70 machine, will round out 26th. Casey Drake in the 87. Rough night for him and his car and Toyota Camry. Started earlier up in the front of this field, but will land 27th, 30 laps down. Joe Berger, who started this race early in his Ford Mustang, lining up 28th at the start-finish line. Jackson Derby, 29th, 33 laps down. And Brett Murphy with a rough run. Going to be a hard hit in points. Top 30 for him, 34 laps down. And then by the end of this one, Marshall Harris finishes 36 laps down. It seemed as though he might have made at least a lap or didn't make it to the green flag. And he will be the final driver out of everyone here. 31 cars. I think a new world or new record for attendance here in this series. But it is all eyes on Eric Heater, your winner here tonight from the Charlotte Roval. We'll bring him in and we'll talk with the driver of the 10 who wins not only his second race of the season, but his second in a row. And Eric, we had talked to you just right a little bit before the halfway mark of this race. You said, keep the car clean, hit your marks, and you'll be competitive to the end. You did just that, and you walk away with a win. It's got to feel good going 2 in a row here.
Yeah, for sure. I was pretty nervous there when the caution came out, and honestly, I was a little bit upset with Aaron. But I mean, I guess it didn't really change the result too much, and I was able to have a pretty good battle with Michael there towards the end. And yeah, it was just a fun race for the most part, even though I made a lot of mistakes, which I could work on, coming for the rest of the season. But I don't know. We had just such good pace, especially on the fresh tires, and I was able to get back up front and make battles and pass drivers and just get up front really quickly. So pretty happy with that race.
And the final restart was really what made the money because Rosero and 2 other drivers had stayed out on older tires. Was there any concern as to what Rosero was going to do? I know you guys had raced clean the entire race, but was there any concerns that him on the old tires probably wasn't a big difference and that he would still be able to contend with you, or you had enough confidence that the fresh tires were going to carry you all the way to the front again?
Yeah, I was pretty confident in the tires there because just looking at the lap times and stuff before the caution came out, he was a bit faster than me, but my lap times had already fallen off like 3 seconds, so I knew he was going to be at least a second or so, maybe a little bit less than that, slower. So I knew I was going to be able to catch him. It was just a matter of battling, and I was able to get it done. I was able to get past, and I won by a lot bigger margin than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to have to battle him down to the finish, but just came a little bit easier than I was expecting.
Well, you certainly nabbed the win, and this is your second win in a row after what was a nail-biting finish over at Michigan. I think 2 races in a row that land within the top, or 5 to go, at least on the restart, all the way to the checkered flag. But you get it done both times, and now you sit in victory lane here tonight. Before we let you go, Eric, I know there's a lot of people that make it happen for you, so who are those people, any teams, sponsors, or anyone else that makes your nights here on the sim and in this series?
I want to first make sure that I give a shout out to Eric Keplinger. I did miss that last week, so apologies to him. But of course, all my teammates, like both the Lukes, Talon, Michael, Wolfgang, all those guys, and then everyone else who was racing there, like Jonathan, Thomas.
All right, Eric. Well, we certainly congratulate you on your win here tonight from the Charlotte Roval, your second in a row, and we'll let you celebrate here from the Roval. So again, congratulations, and we thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Yep, see you next week.
That's Eric Heater taking the checkered flag for the second time in a row. Back-to-back wins here in the series, and we'll look probably for 3 in a row when we go for the rest of the season next week. We'll bring in the driver who finishes in second here tonight, and that will be the Ford Mustang, number 23 of Michael Rosero, who held on the oldest tires in the top 5 and lands himself within the second spot, able to nab and keep hold of the drivers right behind. And we'll bring him in, and the driver running in his first start. Michael, this first start for you, I think certainly was very successful, and coming down to the end, you made this call to stay out on the older tires. Did you feel that you were going to have enough of a buffer near the end to hold off the drivers on the fresh tires, or you thought this was going to be it, this was just a wild decision, and I'll go for it if it means I can take the race win away?
Shoot. Sorry, my mic wasn't working at first. Anyways, yeah, we had a very good run. I wasn't expecting to be up there, hauling, I was really going. I was catching Aaron and Thomas for almost 5/10 a lap, and it's really fast. But yeah, we had a very great run, even though we stayed on the fresh tires. I think I probably would have gotten here, but yeah.
It was a fantastic run for you nonetheless, and not only it was your first start, and going to the end there, you had fantastic battles, I think, all over the venue. Saw you racing with Thomas Fisher, Jonathan Nodes, handful of other drivers, Eric Heater, also to mention, for position. How much is patience a key here at this track? Because we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, mistakes being such a big factor into how your race can either go well or either can go all the way in just a pit. But how much was patience a key for you to not only manage your car around the track in the long run and also have to deal with traffic most of the time?
Oh yeah, I mean you do have to have patience on road courses, but I'm not the best at being patient. I'm just gonna say that right then and now. But yeah, so yeah, I don't really get that patient, but I just try to hold it in and then just make it work on like when I'm like there. So.
Well, you get it done, and in your first start, you land your second at the Charlotte Roval in a fantastic run to the finish. Before we let you go, I know there's a lot of people that make it happen for you, so is there anyone you just like to thank or give shout-outs to, any teams, any sponsors, or anyone else that you just like to mention here on the broadcast before we send you off?
I want to thank Supermax Motorsports for signing me up for this team, and I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. And yeah, we just had a great run, and I want to thank to all the people that showed up. We got like 30 people, so that's really good for CRL. So yeah, I think that's it.
All right, Michael, well, we certainly appreciate the time, and of course, we congratulate you on a fantastic run holding off on old tires to finish second here at the Charlotte Roval. And not only do we look forward to seeing you racing for the rest of the season, we hope to see you over when we sing the Cowboy Hat at Texas next week. Hopefully, that'll be a lot of fun. So we hope to see you there, but for now, congratulations from the Roval.
Yeah, thank you. I'm hoping to win at Texas. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's Michael Rosero. A nice, enthusiastic run to Texas next week. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. Hoping to shoot the guns in victory lane next week, and a fantastic run to the finish all the way. It was impressive to see him hold off the drivers behind him. And speaking of drivers behind him, finishing in third at the checkered flag, it'll be the Mark Martin Throwback, one of the more colorful cars we see here tonight, and also one of the most strong drivers here tonight. That was the 92 of Thomas Fisher, holding off the 73 of Oates and being right behind Michael Rosero to the checkered flag to finish in this top three. We'll bring in Thomas Fisher from pit road. And Thomas, I'd say this was one of the most dominant races you've had, along with the top four. And it seemed as though no matter what happened on the racetrack, whether we had yellows, whether we had contact, you guys were all clustered in together, and it seemed that there was practically no way you guys can get separated. Walk us through how that was, competing for position almost every turn on this tricky track here for most of this race.
I mean, of course, this is a very tricky and windy racetrack, especially with these cars who tend to get very loose on the power and actually everywhere. So the main goal for tonight was just going to be, stick to where you start. I feel like we did that pretty well tonight. However, as you said, obviously we were pretty inseparable, pretty much the top four of us the whole race. And as I said, I was in the voice chat with my teammate Jonathan Oates, and we were just talking about it. It was trying to get the strategy right when Heater pulled the gun on the short pits. We always had to decide, are we going to follow him or whatnot, which ended up being the right decision. But between the four of us, I think we all had our strengths and our weaknesses. Like mine, I was especially good through the infield section, and I was a little bit weaker getting onto the oval and then through the chicanes. So I think the main goal at that point was just going to be making sure I maximized my my strong suits and I minimized my weak points.
And I mentioned with a couple of the drivers just how much patience and mistakes were such a key part of this race here at the Charlotte Roval, considering the fact that this track really doesn't give you much room to breathe. Apart from the ovals, even then, you may have to lift a little bit considering the low downforce here at this car. But considering now that you've had this finish here at the road course, is there any expectations that you want to carry or at least bring this momentum forward when you guys go to Texas next week for the ovals once more?
I mean, I can't really bring any expectations forwards because this is two completely different disciplines of racing. Of course, I've had strong showings in both my previous races, except then, it's always ended in tears pretty much with the blown engine at Bristol and getting taken out by Brady, I think it was, at Michigan. So I don't really have any expectations going forwards. And of course, I am a road racer. That's what I do. So I knew that tonight was going to be a strong race. But now the main thing is going to be just trying to get a little bit of pracky in and just making sure that we can keep our nose clean come next Friday.
Well, you kept it clean and you finished in third, and with a beautiful Mark Martin paint scheme, by the way, to know. Gorgeous, one of the best throwbacks I see here tonight. But apart from that, before we send you off here, is there anyone you just like to thank, any team sponsors or anyone else that makes it happen for you here on track and on the sim?
I mean, of course, I have to thank my teammate Jonathan Oates. With that mental finish, I gotta thank him because we were both pretty nice to each other, so that was great. But of course, I gotta thank my main team for always sticking with me. So SCW, VRE Racing, gotta thank all their sponsors. So SCW, WEC Fan Forum, all them lot. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, quite frankly, but all those guys, gotta thank them. Gotta also thank TMG Racing Network, the guys who I commentate for. Gotta thank them massively because doing that is what allows me to do these races. It's what pays for my iRacing. So you always have to thank those, and especially gotta thank my dad as well for giving me the racing bug at such a young age. And as well, gotta thank everyone else who's helped me out in any way, shape, or form. So, always gotta thank guys like Eric Heater, Wolfgang Hoffman, Joseph Madigan, even Michael Rosero, Aaron Brown. They've all taught me how to become a better racer, especially on the ovals. So those are the guys I really gotta thank.
All right, Thomas. Well, we certainly appreciate your time, and we certainly congratulate you on a fantastic finish on the last step of the podium here from the Charlotte Roval. And not only do we look forward to seeing you more on the road side, considering how strong you did here tonight, we look forward to seeing you when we move over to Texas and another 1.5 miler. That's going to be a lot of fun with the high downforce package. So we look forward to seeing you there. But of course, congratulations on your third place finish from the Charlotte Roval here tonight.
Thanks, Ken. Much appreciated.
That's Thomas Fisher in the 92 machine, finishing inside the top 3, and we'll line up the driver interviews for tonight's coverage from the Charlotte Roval. It was a wild 35 laps, and something probably we did not expect from the drop of the green flag. We were looking forward to green flag racing all the way throughout, whether we had incidents or not, but the officials made those decisions, made those 2 yellow flag calls near the end of the race, one at dead in the middle around lap 19, lap 20, and then the last one with just about 5 laps to go before we got to the checkered flag. But it was none other than Eric Heater capturing his second win of the season and celebrating here on the road course, apart from winning on an oval just last Friday. Well, right here as we wrap up, we've got more coverage here on the KBueno Racing Network coming through the next week, and it starts on Monday night with the iRacing Bunge Lawn Care Series finale from the Homestead Miami Speedway. Blaze McKinney, Parker White, Nick Miller, and Cole Williams, the championship 4, running for a title in a winner-takes-all scenario. We'll have the coverage there at about 8:25 p.m. Eastern. We'll have Charlie Baier and myself on the call for the championship event from arguably one of the best ovals in NASCAR, the Homestead Miami Speedway. And from then on, we move on to Thursday night, where we've got the Oscar Truck Series when they go green once more, and they continue their season on to the Kansas Speedway and the 1.5 mile in the NASCAR Trucks machines. And before we get back to racing here for CRL competition, that'll be next Friday at about 7:25 p.m. Eastern. You can find that right here on the KBueno Racing Network, and we'll have coverage from the Midwest and the Texas Motor Speedway and the Legacy Texas. As a matter of fact, we'll have back to 1.5 mile racing, and we'll have coverage of all of those races within the next week right here on the KBueno Racing Network. Well, that does it here for our broadcast of the CRL Cup Series round number 5 from the Charlotte Roval. And got to thank everybody that makes this possible, for Brady Floyd, Bryn George, Zachary Thornton, all the officials that make things possible each and every week for CRL competition. Got to thank everybody for showing up here tonight. Record-setting 31 drivers in a field to start this race. Surely thank each and every one of the drivers for making this one of the most entertaining series from the Cup Series that we've seen so far in 2021. And for all of us at the KBueno Racing Network, for Charlie Baier and Francisco Bacalhau, my name is Kenneth Bueno, saying good night from the tricky Charlotte Roval. We head back to oval racing next week when we try to sling the guns in the cowboy hat in Texas.